Hi everyone! Have you got a Christmas party coming up but nothing to wear? Well, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little Christmas hat. Welcome! Tammy here from Flutterby Creations, and let's jump right in. So, to start this tutorial, what you'll need is your yarn choices. So in this case I'm going to do a red hat with some white trim, your crochet hook, and for this project I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and then any Alice band that you can find. To start, we're going to make our magic ring. So the way I make a magic ring is to put the yarn over my two fingers, wrap it around twice so you have a cross, take your hook, insert it under the first strand, pull the back strand under it, give it a little twist, and then grab your yarn and pull through. So basically chain. And then you have your loop. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work the base of the little hat. So we're going to make a circle. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make 6 single crochets into the ring. So single crochet is pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 more single crochets like this. Alright, then what I like to do next is I like to tighten by pulling on the tail of the work, and I will slip stitch into the first chain in the ring. Sorry, there we go. Right, slip stitch, pull through like so. Round 2 we're going to increase into each stitch so that we get 12 stitches at the end. So we're going to go into the stitch and make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. We're going to do this all the way around into the next stitch. First single crochet, and second single crochet into the same stitch. Pause the video now and I'll meet you back here when you're ready for the next round. Right, so here I have my circle with my 12 stitches all the way around. Now a good tip is to find a stitch marker and to place a stitch marker into either your 12th stitch or your first stitch, whichever you prefer. My little girl's been playing with them, so I'm not 100% sure where they've disappeared to. So alright, so round 3 we're going to single crochet into the first stitch and then increase into the second stitch. Right, so single crochet and then increase, so basically making 2 single crochets into the second stitch. And this is how you're going to gradually increase the size of your circle. 1 single crochet into the next stitch and increase, so 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And you're going to do this all the way around until you get to 18 stitches. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I have my 18 stitches around. So now for round 4 you're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So 1 single crochet, second single crochet, and then an increase all the way around until you reach 24 stitches. Do this and I'll meet you at the end. So I've managed to find a single stitch marker. Right, so I have done 24 stitches all the way around. Now the process is to do 3 single crochet and then a increase, so 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. And we're going to do this all the way around until we get to 30 stitches. Pause the video now, and I'll meet you back here when you're ready for the next round. Right, so I have done my 30 stitches all the way around, and as you can see, I've made it to the stitch marker again. Alright, so our next step, we are going to work into the back loop only to get the hat to start forming on the top. Alright, so we're going to take our stitch marker out. Put it back in now. I just want to do the first. Alright, so we're going to work for the pattern for the hat. We're going to do the linen stitch, and how linen stitch works is it works in twos. So we're going to, in order to do the linen stitch, we're going to go in the back loop of our stitch there. And you can see the back loop there, so we're going to go in through there. Okay, we're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then chain 1. Then we're going to skip the next stitch and do single crochet and chain into the next back loop, and then chain 1. Skip the next stitch, go into the back loop of the second one, basically do a single crochet and chain 1. Now we're going to do this all the way around until we reach the end. And I see I've already forgotten to put my stitch marker back, so I'm just going to place my stitch marker back at the beginning here. There we go. Alright, so now one last time, let's do, so we did a single crochet into this one, we did a chain 1, so we need to skip this next stitch, go into the back loop of this one, single crochet and chain 1. Alright, so pause the video now, and I'll meet you back here when you're ready for the next round. Alright, so as you can see, I have done linen stitch all the way around, and you can sort of see there's sort of like a ridge forming now, which is going to help us get our shape for our little hat that we're going to be making. Alright, so the next row for linen stitch. As you can see, I stopped here just before my stitch marker because now I need to skip this one, so I'm going to crochet into the stitch here where my stitch marker is. So I'm just going to quickly remove it. Let's crochet into that one because it is a space technically. Okay, single crochet into that one where your stitch marker was, chain 1. Alright, so the next step for linen stitch is to basically do a linen stitch in every chain space. Okay, so as you can see, there was a chain space here, so I did a linen stitch into this stitch here. Now I'm going to look for my next chain 1 space, which is this over here. You can see it has a little bit of a bigger hole, so it's easier to spot. Alright, so we're going to go into that chain 1 space, and we're going to do a linen stitch, single crochet and chain 1. We're going to look for our next one, which is over here. Now we're going to look for the next chain 1 space, which is right over there. It's always nice if you can't see it, a good tip is to feel around for it. Over there. Okay, so single crochet into the chain 1 space and chain 1. Next chain 1 space is over there. Just feel around for it. You can sort of see there's the V-stitch there, or the linen stitch, sorry. There's the chain 1 space. Alright, so do this all the way back around to your stitch marker, and then we'll carry on to the next row. So you've got your first row, which you did, your second row, so the 3 rows will count this row, so row 1, row 2, row 3, and then I'll meet you back at the end. Right, so this is what your project should be looking like at the moment. So now what we're going to do is we're slowly going to decrease to give it the shape that we need it to have. Alright, so in order to decrease with the linen stitch, we're going to go into the next chain 1 space. We're going to pull up a loop, and then go into the next chain 1 space, the second one, and pull up another loop. Alright, got 3 loops on a hook, then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3, and that is a decrease for the linen stitch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way around just like normal in just 2 our normal linen stitches. Alright, that was now row 5, going from the bottom of the hat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for the next 7 rows. So row 6 to row 12, we're going to decrease by 1 to start getting our little hat to shape properly. Pause the video now, and I'll meet you back here when you're ready for the next round. Alright, so after having done those extra 7 rows, you should be having a shape that came out like this. So you can see it's now going from bigger to smaller over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So then you will have 12 stitches after those 7 rows. You'll end off with 12 stitches. Now the next step is to stuff it, because if you go any smaller around here, it's going to get very difficult. Alright, so what I have here is just normal, basically the inside of your pillow, old pillows, lumpy pillows, and yeah, basically just stuff it like really, really tight. You don't want any air holes or any little gaps, because it will deflate over time. Alright, now as you can see, it is stuffed perfectly, just the way I want it. And we are now going to make the little, what could you call it, tail of the hat, until we can place a pom-pom on the end. And in order to do that, all we're going to do is single crochet all the way around, and then keep going up until we have a tail long enough for the top of our hat. Right, so let's get going. So in each chain 1 space, we're just going to single crochet around, which is going to give us a nice small space for the tail. Right, as you can see, my gap there is nice and small. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going around with the same amount of stitches until I have a long enough tail for my hat. You can make it as long as you feel it needs to be, but keep going and I'll meet you back here for the next step. Alright, to make the fluffy white rim, I'm going to use a white yarn. This case, my white yarn is pretty thick. It's going to give it a nice extra fluffy texture. So I'm going to attach my white yarn under my chain here at the base of my hat. Pull through, there we go, and chain 2. 1 and 2. And sorry, just pull this tight. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to move my tail out of the way there, and under every chain along the base of my hat I am going to yarn over. Under the chain in this case, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2, and you have your double crochet. Now the idea is to do this all the way around the hat so that you have a nice fluffy white rim. So keep going and I'll see you when you get to the end. All you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain, cut off a nice tail for weaving in those ends, and fasten off. I like to do a little knot when I fasten off just to make sure. And there you have your cute little fluffy white rim for your Christmas hat. If we have a look at the previous Christmas hat as band I made, the next steps is obviously to weave in all the ends, attach the pom-pom. I also fastened the tail where I wanted to so that it stayed down. And then obviously for the Alice band, because I have black Alice bands, I single crocheted over the Alice band like this in order to make it red. Alright guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it fun to make this Christmas themed hair accessory, and I hope to see you in the next one.